Hello everybody and welcome to Filbert Flies. I'm here again today with Matt from Working Title, who has very kindly agreed to show us two ways to carry out a VOR approach in the Working Title CJ4. So initially he's going to show us how to do an FMS-coupled VOR approach, and then after that we're going to see how to fly it manually. So hello Matt, and thank you for coming back.
Hello, thank you.
So we are approaching Rhodes at the moment. As you can see, Rhodes VOR is about 20 nautical miles away from us. And we thought, didn't we, that we'd start off by having a look at the chart. So do you want to talk us through that?
Yeah, that is actually relatively easy. So we can hit the chart button in the control panel under the MFD there.
Okay.
And this trips people up. It says no chart available, and people assume that, you know, if they've put something in, if they put in their arrival or their approach, they should see something, but you have to hit lower menu first.
Right. It tripped me up as well, I've got to be honest. I thought, I haven't linked it properly. Okay.
Right, exactly. And we could just scroll down to the approach there with the data knob, and then should be able to click that.
And there it is.
Perfect. All right, so it looks like we're going to overfly Rhodes there, and then we've got a bit of a course reversal type setup.
Yes.
Towards, what is that, runway 6?
Runway 6 it is.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, I'd better lower the altitude quickly, hadn't I? So we keep going down.
Ah, yeah, good call.
I believe.
Also, let's take us to one beyond Rhodes. So there's 3,000 above there. Is that what I see?
Yes, it is. Yeah. And I'm gonna slow us down a little bit so we've got plenty of time. So yeah, so this is what the chart looks like. What else can we do with this now it's up?
Yeah, we can zoom, we can pan. The zoom plus minus toggle button there will go from, you know, zoomed in to zoomed out.
Oh yes.
That little joystick on the right side will pan the map around. It's a little finicky. The click spots are not super accurate, but once you get a handle on it, it kind of sticks. So
yeah. So you can either just click it up and down, or you can actually drag it, which I didn't know. I just tried that and it worked. Awesome.
That's actually a lot easier to do it that way when you're, you know, in VR or you know, it's kind of bouncy. You know, you got some turbulence. You just kind of click the center of it and fling it around wherever you need.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And you can see that we have georeferencing in the charts too, which is really cool.
That is really cool.
Navigraph has that for most of their charts. Not every single one has georeferencing, but you can see we've got our little own ship icon flying towards Rhodes there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So nice. I think the other thing that we want to do is let's just tune in Rhodes as a backup.
Okay. Yeah. So tune, and then it is 115.8.
Yep.
Okay. Done.
Perfect. And so just in case anything goes wrong, we've got that in there now. We could always switch to nav if we needed to.
Yes.
For now, we're on course. This looks good.
Good.
And then once we swing it around, or once we get ready to swing it around, kind of after, after the end of this first VOR leg, we can also tune to PAR, and so we'll just have that in memory and get ready to do that.
Okay.
And that will be our second backup.
Sounds good. And you'd wait and put that in Nav 1 rather than sticking it in Nav 2, would you?
I probably would. You could stick it in Nav 2, but Nav 2 is more for, kind of the FO side. So
okay.
You certainly could do that. I think I would probably lean towards just switching them as you get towards the end.
Okay. All right. So, fine. 108.6. I'll remember that.
Perfect.
And I suppose we may as well get rid of the chart. Is there anything else worth looking at? I suppose we could look at the vertical profile, couldn't we, if we move down over here? So yes, so we should be at 6,000 feet at Rhodes VOR, and as you can see, we're just approaching it now, and we are indeed at 6,000 feet, which is nice.
You know, the other thing we could do now while we
Yes.
have the chance is just load up the load up the minimums.
Good idea. Good idea. Okay, so refs menu.
Yes, indeed.
And down to Barrow. And it's on the chart here. I've also got the chart on my iPad, and it's almost worse having two places to look because I get muddled up. Anyway, 1100. Oh, it's still in there from last time we did that, as if by magic.
Oh, yep. Fantastic.
Awesome. Good. Anything else we should be doing at the moment?
No, this is we're in a great spot. Just keep monitoring and get ready for the next turn, and we'll be going into heading mode just beforehand, probably at about 4 miles out.
Okay. Cool.
And if we zoom in on that, the plan there, or the some position, you can see the reason we're doing that, and that turn leg that cuts into the final approach course is relatively short, and so by default, the Proline 21 is going to want to cut those on the inside, and you're going to end up with a little bit of a non-straight approach doing that. So we're just going to go into heading mode and overfly our DME end, which is what this next fix represents.
Okay.
And then use heading mode to kind of come back, make that turn come back around.
Okay, makes sense. And so should we be going into heading mode now, or leave it a little bit?
At about 4 miles, I
About
think
4
it should
miles.
be good.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect. We can go now, I think, if I'm reading that
Okay.
correctly.
Yes, I think you are, and you did say that earlier. I forgot. Okay, so I sync the heading and switch on heading mode.
Perfect. You can see we've got heading flash there, and LNV1 has disappeared, so that's good. We know we're in the right mode.
Yes.
And we're still on our vertical profile, also good.
Yes.
And we may at this point want to lower it down all the way to our final approach fix.
Okay. Which was 800, did we decide?
I think so.
Yeah.
We could always check the legs page if we need to confirm.
Let's do that. Yep, 800.
Altitude.
Perfect. And we'll let this course extend for a little bit.
Okay. Very much
you'll
take a
notice-
Sorry, go on.
Oh, I was just going to say, you'll notice it did what we expected, right? That very short leg was immediately skipped because the plane would have wanted to start the turn so early. So, we switched fixes, and then immediately you saw it blinking again, and we switched fixes, and now we're on the final approach course fix.
Yes. Yeah. I was just going to say I very much took my eye off the speed, which I always do whenever I'm looking at anything else on this plane.
It's very easy to do.
I'm getting a reputation on my streams for constantly overspeeding, and I always say a little bit doesn't hurt anyone.
No, certainly. All right, well, I think we probably have enough space here to swing it around and make that turn.
Okay. So, sort of straight for that next waypoint, which is CDO 6 Zulu?
I think that's probably a good plan, yeah.
Okay.
And then since we have that heading dialed in, we can actually hit nav mode now, and that should
Okay.
arm it.
Yeah, it has.
And thus, when it starts to, when that CDI needle in the center there starts to deflect, sort of, they call it coming off the wall, then it will switch to, switch from heading mode to actual LNAV there.
Okay, cool.
Well, I need to fly this area more often, huh?
It's stunning, isn't it? It really is.
Really nice.
There's a good amount of decent scenery for the Greek islands as well, both freeware and payware.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This is Just Sims Rhodes that I've got installed here. Which is not one of my favourites, to be honest, but it has an interesting approach, hence why we're here.
Any review videos you can plug for me for those?
Do you know? I'm not sure I've actually done a review of any of the Greek islands. I sort of got a little bit fed up with them, not with the islands, but of doing reviews.
Okay, fair enough.
So I don't think I've done any, but I do recommend Gaia Simulations COS. I'll tell you that for now. That's my favourite of all the Greek island sceneries.
I will keep that in mind.
Yeah, Just Sim Santorini is pretty good. This Rhodes is okay, and freeware-wise, there is a version of Skiathos which is fantastic and pretty much payware quality, and I did cover that in one of my freeware focus videos.
Cool. All right, well, we're pretty well set up here. I think we can start dialing back the speed just a little bit, and we can tune in our next VOR now.
Yes, which was 108.6.
I believe that's true.
There we are.
Perfect. And I think we're in position to get to flaps 15.
Okay.
And the other thing to note here is, we're not in approach mode. You're going to want to fly VOR approaches in LNAV, VNAV.
Okay.
That does give you pretty good vertical guidance. This is not a precision approach, obviously. That's why the minimums are all the way at 1100.
Yeah.
But if you were in IMC and you had those minimums available, the cloud cover was such that you could break out at that, it's going to be relatively accurate.
Yes. Okay. Great. So that's flaps 50 now.
Perfect. Looks like we're lined up quite nicely, actually.
It does. We do have a slight tailwind, but not much.
Very, very slight, yeah. And so I think what we'll want to do is by that final approach fix, we'll just we'll get into flaps 35, and so I think we can probably pull the gear now.
Okay. Gear's going down.
And the other thing that we can do while we have the time is just knock our V speeds in real quick.
Oh yes, good idea. Yeah. So
altitude.
Perf approach.
Yep.
And we know the temperature's 15, 1013, and the wind we can see is, well, it's going to be 270 at 2, isn't it? I imagine.
I think so.
Next, there they are, 104 and 111. Send those.
Perfect.
Done. Oh.
And once we hit that final approach fix, we can go to flaps 35, and it looks like we are in a good position.
Great. It's flaps 35 now. And at what point would you need to take over manual control? I mean, by minimums, I guess, but is there a set height?
Technically, 200 feet is the lowest you should go.
Oh, okay.
It looks like we're a little bit over to the left.
Minimum.
Yeah.
But, we'll see how it comes back. It usually corrects back a little bit.
Okay.
So we can kind of leave it on and just watch it.
I have to say, I just turned it off because I don't know why.
That's totally fair.
I decided we were too far to the left. I've stuck it back on now. We still seem to be in LNAV, so that's all right. See how it does.
Yeah.
I guess we need to lower the altitude then, don't we? To keep it coming down.
That is correct.
Yeah. So we'll stick that at 200. But it's not following the vertical profile anymore, is it?
No, I do believe that we got caught in it being captured. So,
yeah.
And we're a little bit over the left, so I think probably now's a good time to go manual.
Okay.
And that's the same time that you would pick roughly in the real aircraft as well.
Yeah. Right, get that nose down a little. So this is take 2 of this video, and last time I landed it rather well, and I'd be very surprised if I do it again, just to manage everyone's expectations.
Zero pressure.
okay.
No disclaimer required at all.
No, well, this is what happens if I make my excuses and manage everyone's expectations beforehand. I land all right. If I don't, if I'm feeling confident, it all goes wrong. Well, there we are. Welcome to Rhodes.
Very good. Worked out pretty well, huh?
Yeah, it did. It did. I just come to a stop here. No one needs to watch us taxi all the way in, and let's do it all over again.
Sounds good.
Right, so here we are again, inbound to the Rhodes VOR, and this time Matt's going to show us how to fly this approach manually. We've got the chart up. Take us through what we're going to do.
Sure. So we are going to, we're inbound to Rhodes right now. What we're going to do is we're going to tune the RDS VOR, and we're going to fly this outbound radial. And right now, you can only fly inbound on radials. So we're going to go to heading mode after we cross RDS and kind of follow that outbound radial manually in heading mode until we get to, it looks like I see D11, so that's going to be 11 DME from RDS.
Okay.
And since we'll already be in heading mode, at that point we will tune over to PAR, switch our course inbound to 065 and kind of make that turn manually in heading mode. And once we get close enough to inbound, we'll switch over to nav mode and let green needles take over. And this whole time we're going to do this with no VNav guidance. We're going to go old school here, and we're going to do VS all the way down. So crossing my fingers, hopefully we get this right.
Sounds good. I haven't done it for a very long time, so yeah, I'll keep my fingers crossed as well.
Cool, perfect.
So I'll get rid of the chart for now, I guess.
Yeah.
And we'll see how we're doing on the MFD.
Yep.
Zoom in a little bit. So I should say I've set up our perf approach page in advance this time. So that's one less thing for us to think about. And we've got 6,000 preset there, so that's what we'll be descending to.
And 6,000 is our crossing restriction for RDS, is that?
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Perfect, cool.
Could even get involved with a few casual things like turning on the landing lights are already on. Needn't worry.
Well, perfect. Well, it looks like we've got good speed here.
Yeah.
Everything is dialed in nicely.
Yes.
We've got about a little over 10 miles left until RDS.
Yeah. We've almost got too long, haven't we, this time?
Oh, yeah, but that's okay. So how has your Sim Update 3 experience been?
Well, it's been all right for me, to be honest. It's I haven't noticed any slowdowns or anything like that. A few little bugs here and there. But no, it seems to be working all right. What about you?
That's good, yeah. You know, I have a little bit of stutters. I feel like it's not as, maybe a little bit more than before, but it's always hard to tell, you know. It depends on where you're flying and all that kind of stuff. So, so far, so good.
Yeah, good. I'm looking forward to the next world update. I'm very excited to have a decent representation of Nice in the sim. That'll be good.
Ooh, yeah, that'll be nice.
And a bit more photogrammetry.
Always good to bring in more of that, you know, the sort of high quality scenery data. And there's a lot of it already, but seeing more photogrammetry stuff come in is always really cool.
Yeah, it is.
All right, well, let's see. We're about 5 miles out. Should we tune now?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
All right, let's go for it. And it looks like it is going to be 115.8.
115.8. Okie dokie. That's in there.
And at this point, I think we're on course perfectly. So let's sync the heading bug. We'll go into heading mode.
Okay.
And we will switch the nav source over, and it looks like VOR1 is already preset, so we can just hit the nav source swap button.
Okay.
And our inbound course looks like it's going to be 279, and that will also be the outbound course, so we can just move it to that.
There we go.
Perfect. And we're starting to capture the altitude here. So let's turn VNav off.
Okay.
And we're hitting the, you can see we're in the circle of confusion, the cone of confusion there.
Yes.
And so the idea here is to continue to track the VOR course in heading mode. So
okay.
we might have to add a little bit of intercept there.
Yeah.
And let's start to VS down to, it looks like our next restriction at 11 DME is going to be 3,000.
Yes. Okay. So VS. And what sort of speed are we going for?
The rule of thumb is take your speed divided by half and add a 0. So.
Oh right, this is where I have to fly an accurate speed. Call it 220.
Sure. So that should be that's 110. So about 1100 down, and we move that pre-selector down there.
Ah, that's what I didn't do. Yes, thank you.
Yep.
Down to 3,000, did we say? Yeah.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Okay, and now we go into VS. And that works.
There we go.
Okay. Sorry, what did we say?
I think, well, let's go. I said 1100, but let's go 1200 now, or maybe we'll go 1500 just so we burned a little bit of time there as we were talking about it. But
yeah.
That should get us down.
That was a failure to remember how to fly the plane moment.
Actually, you know what we can do? If you zoom in on the MFD, you're going to want to dial back your speed just a little bit here as well.
Oh yes, thank you. Yes.
You can actually slew your VS down until the banana meets our next fix.
Ah, okay.
You may have to sort of adjust speed as you do so.
Yes, I've got too fast again, as is my way. Okay.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, very good. And we seem to be flying the outbound course just fine.
Yeah.
And VNav is telling us that our TOD is now ahead of us, which will happen as we are descending faster than altitude.
Yeah.
Meeting the restriction, so that's okay. That happens in the real plane as well.
Okay, cool. I'm just using a bit of speed brake here to, you know, slow us down quite a lot.
Absolutely. All right, so we're crossing our DME 11.
Yeah.
So let's tune in PAR and get that our next VOR set up.
Okay.
And PAR is 108.6.
Thank you. Okay.
And our inbound course looks like it's going to be 065.
Okay. Getting a little slow again while I do that. Okay, 065 is in.
065 is in, great. And our next restriction is going to be 2,000.
Okay.
And that is going to be at 60 ME.
Okay.
And we can start our turn now. So if we just swing heading mode around.
Something like that?
Yeah, perfect. Oh, that's a lovely view.
It is. It is.
You know, I need to fly over some more water and islands. I don't do that enough.
That's the trouble with having a big continent. If you live in an island, or on even if it's a big island, you do see a lot more water.
Yep, absolutely. I'm right next to Lake Michigan, so there's a pretty decent sized body of water. But it's not the ocean. The ocean is different, right? There's no islands in Lake Michigan or anything like that.
It's true. Although I was amazed by how much it felt like the ocean when you're by it. It's,
yeah, you can't see. You know, it's all the way to the horizon for sure.
Yeah.
So as soon as we see our needle get a little bit closer to the center here, we can swap back into nav mode and just let the plane follow in.
Okay, it's moving
and
in
we can
now.
also VS down just a little bit as well, so that we are able to cross our, let's see, 6 DME restriction at 2,000.
Okay.
Altitude.
Perfect.
Six DME at 2,000. Yep. Okay. So actually, looking at the banana, I could even use a slower rate of descent, couldn't I?
You could, yep. That is the genius of the altitude select range indicator, I believe is the real term for it. But
Right.
Everybody calls it the altitude banana. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very useful feature.
well, this looks we've done this pretty well, I think.
I think so. And then after 6 DME, we're going to continue down, right?
We're going to continue down, and it's going to be on a 3-degree slope. So we can kind of pick our poison there on the speed that we want to go. But probably the same rule of thumb would definitely work.
Yeah.
And if you look at the chart, actually, it does give you a descent angle, vertical speed. So for 180, it says 956 here, which is nice. So if we wanted to,
yes.
Target 180, then we could put in about 1,000
Yeah.
as our descent rate.
Okay, that's what I'll do. I've got idle throttle at the moment.
Perfect. And we probably should set up our minimums as well, which I believe on the chart are 1,100.
Oh yes, good idea. Refs menu. And there they are.
Perfect. And let's get the pre-selector down to 2,000, which is our next, to well, I guess we could go all the way down, yeah. Or if you wanted to put them down to minimums, either or works.
Okay. Yeah, let's put them down to minimum. So we're doing 180, so that gives us, according to the chart, 956 for the descent. So, I don't know, what do you do here? Just say roughly 1,000? Or roughly?
Yeah, it looks like, obviously at this point we're not on anything even resembling a precision approach, especially doing just VS. There's no vertical guidance here. If it feels too high, it probably is too high. So always adjust accordingly.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got flaps 50 now. I'll put the gear down.
Perfect. And it's going to go into altitude capture. So at this point, I think we can disengage autopilot and just fly the rest manually.
Okay. Oh, I think that went pretty okay.
I think so.
Minimums,
Yeah.
Minimums.
Although we are a little high, but that's because I didn't choose a fast enough descent rate.
Yeah, it's with these type of approaches, it gets busy pretty quickly. So
Yeah.
it's easy to get behind the plane for sure, especially when you got to twist knobs and dial things and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. And anyway, the purpose of this video isn't to demonstrate everything perfectly. It's just to give you a rough idea of how things should work.
Absolutely, exactly.
So we're also too fast as a result of that dive, but we'll get it down. Loads of runway, fortunately.
Yep. Oh, that'll do just nicely.
Yes, I think so. Good, and we'll bring it to a stop here again. Quite an abrupt stop. I really would like something other than a trigger to use for brakes, but never mind. Good. Well, Matt, thank you very, very much. That was very informative, very interesting. I learnt a lot. I'm sure everyone else will have. So thanks for giving up your time again.
Yeah, oh, of course, anytime.
And yeah, hopefully we can do a few more approaches, a few other little bits and bobs in the future. I think it'd be quite good to do an RNAV approach next, perhaps, or maybe even a visual thing, but we shall see. But for now, I'll say goodbye to you, and thanks everyone for watching. Do click the subscribe button if you haven't already, and see you again soon on Filbert Flies. See you, Matt.